Jimmy Butler makes them better. But it is Steph's team, and last night was a great example because Jimmy Butler returned to Miami to the Heat, where he got him to the finals, and he has been great. He has been great. When Butler and Steph play together, Warriors are 15-3. But last night's the difference between the two. Steph didn't play, Jimmy did, and the offense dried up. The starters for the Warriors at half had 10 total points. And LeBron and Steph are transformational all-time players, top 10 players. Luka got traded for a reason. Remember, LeBron left Miami on his terms. Jimmy was traded out of town, right? So Luka's a great scorer, but the team's not as good defensively because he doesn't share the ball as much. And in the NBA, if I don't touch it, I'm not playing D on the other end. And Steph, between IQ, EQ, off-ball, on-ball, scoring, culture-building, leadership. I love Jimmy Butler, but he's combative. He's a bounce-around-the-league guy. He's a super grinder. He's a more offensively skilled Draymond Green. But Steph's the entire package. LeBron's the entire package. You can love Keith Richards. It's Mick's band. You can love Butler. It's Steph's band. You can love Luka. It's LeBron's band. And you saw it last night, is that without Steph, this looked like the team pre-Butler. Nobody could score. The movement's not as good. They're not talking as much. And the Heat and the Mavs, listen, both got to finals, right? The Heat got to the finals. But when they did with Jimmy Butler, Jimmy was overwhelmed. And Luka got to a finals. But do you remember that finals? He was out of shape. He was gassed. LeBron James with Matthew Dellavedova can lose a finals. He's not out of shape. He's not gassed. He just doesn't have enough combatants on his side.
Okay. I don't really know what this conversation is right now. Because obviously Jimmy Butler is not as good as LeBron James or Steph Curry. And obviously for the Golden State Warriors, this is Steph Curry's team. So when Steph Curry's not playing, they're not going to be very good. I'm really trying to make sense of this take, or worried about Warriors without Steph. Yes. Yes. We're worried about the Warriors without Steph. Yes. Like I don't understand the question. It's I don't understand how it is a question. Do you want Jimmy Butler to be able to be better? Obviously, and especially in Steph Curry's absence, you want to be able to have him take over the reins and be able to have these 25, 30-point games, et cetera, et cetera. But I think there wasn't a single starter or a single player who even put up 20 points in that game. And so yeah, you would expect someone as Jimmy Butler's caliber to be able to do that. But I talked about the level of intensity and competitiveness that Jimmy Butler brings to a team, which is great, but it's not as him being the number one guy. I think Jimmy Butler was always going to be set up more to be this number two, and this great number two. And it's kind of interesting because people always kind of say that, can kind of say that so dismissively, but I actually think Draymond Green and Klay Thompson had a conversation where they kind of said it best, where Klay said, because of how Draymond is, and he said this directly to Draymond, me and Steph get to be us. We get to be more of us because of Draymond Green. And it's true. And so when you bring a Jimmy Butler onto your team, it's kind of an extension of that it allows the KDs, the Stephs, etc., to just be them. To worry about nothing else but ball, to sometimes have to be pushed a little bit, to be motivated a little bit, to kind of be reignited a little bit. To kind of have that balance a little, but if you're just talking about just pure basketball, it's obviously Steph, obviously KD, right? If we could replace, Butler for KD, it's going to be KD, obviously. Because KD's the type of player, even still to this day, where if Steph's not there, KD can hang 35 on you. So it's just different levels. And that is the one thing that the Lakers got with Luka. They still got that production more than just adding intensity to a pre-existing team. Someone who can kind of do some of the more dirty work, which is what Jimmy Butler's going to be able to do. Again, it's just like he's going to be essentially a more potent offensive scoring version of a Draymond Green at this point. But Jimmy Butler, has never been the number one guy. And I would say that Jimmy Butler has been leaving on his own terms, though. He has been a wanderer, but he's been leaving on his own terms. I mean, he's been forcing himself off these teams. It's not like he wants to stay and then they just ship him off. Like Luka wanted to stay and he got shipped off. That's a different. That there's a difference there. Jimmy Butler is like purposely making himself kind of like, get me out of here, get me out of here, get me out of here. And I think Jimmy Butler has a similar problem, and unfortunately, it's just he's getting older now. So his on the court play doesn't always match up with this, but I think Jimmy Butler is just very much cut from the Kobe Bryant cloth, where it's just kind of like he gets frustrated around the people around him for not going all in 100%, laying it all out there. And it was a thing that Kobe Bryant had to learn, and he had to learn from Phil Jackson. It's one of my favorite stories, where he kept getting so angry at practice at his teammates. And he was just like, you got to do more. You got to do more. And Phil Jackson had to pull him aside and be like, Kobe, you don't understand. These guys, there is no more for them. There is no other gear for them. Like, they are not you. You have the ability to take it to that next level. They do not. You are getting the most out of them. But like for Kobe, like he couldn't understand, because it's just like, well, just do more. Just work harder. Try harder. Be better. Like, and it's just like, it just that's not the way it works. That's a skill set that, or not even just a skill set, something that you're just born with. That's closer to just how tall are you going to be one day, or the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, your hair, rather than just, no, you just got to have the discipline, you got to put in the work. Like, it's not really how it works. You're either born with it or you're not. And not everyone obviously has it. And that is the type that Jimmy Butler is, where it's just like, we are going so all in nonstop. And for the people that are around me that don't do that, there's just this pure frustration of just like, what are we doing? Let's go. And that can be such an awesome person to be around as your secondary. Obviously you want it as your primary because that's when you have Kobe Bryant. But again, if Jimmy Butler was as good as Kobe Bryant, then he would be Kobe Bryant. I mean, and he's obviously not, right? If you invented Facebook, you would have invented Facebook. So we know exactly who Jimmy Butler is. And so when you bring that level of intensity and that relentlessness, yeah, at this point, you 1000% need a Steph Curry to make this all work here. Like to me, that's just such a clear obvious. So again, in a perfect world, would you want to see the Warriors be a better team when Steph is not playing? Sure. But also, I know exactly who the Golden State Warriors are. They're Steph Curry. And that's why I kind of said in some of my previous videos that it's like, it's on the Warriors to build better teams around Steph at this point. And it's a little frustrating that over the last couple of years, they have failed to do so. And that's on the Warriors. That's on the franchise, not Steph. But you kind of also have to give them a little bit of grace because they did build some pretty amazing, unbelievable teams, in the years past. So you got to, you can't expect them just to build dominant teams year after year after year after year after year. But yeah, this question and this take is just kind of like, what are we like talking about though? Are we trying to debate Jimmy Butler and compare him to LeBron James and Steph Curry? Because like, I don't understand why. And if we're trying to have the question of like, oh, is there a concern how good the Warriors are without Steph? And it's like, that's not a conversation either. It's just a fact. Yeah, the Warriors are bad when Steph Curry is not playing. And there's no reason to believe in the Golden State Warriors and their ability to win games if Steph Curry is not there. Yeah, I'm glad we figured that out. Just like how good, worried about the Bulls without MJ? Yes. Yes. Worried about the Lakers without Kobe? Yes. Yes, I am. Like, I don't, I can't, can't grasp it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Golden State Warriors? Are you worried about the Warriors without Steph? How do you see Jimmy Butler's role with this team and what you're expecting him to be able to do? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.